It's 2 p.m. Detroit, and you know what that means. Detroit media icon Ryan Ermanni, University of Michigan great Braylon Edwards, and of course, Maz are about to take over on Woodward Sports. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m., it's the best Detroit sports talk on Detroit's best sports network. Woodward Sports.
Good afternoon, Detroit. Welcome in. Woodward Sports, Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, but none of them are here. We hope that you guys had a fantastic, blessed Thanksgiving, but we are blessed today to have a Detroit legend in.
And you know they're not going to be here Monday either.
Oh,
After
no.
Ohio State spanks that ass.
That's right.
They're not showing up.
Holiday.
There'll be a lot of tears this weekend, I
Right.
think. But yes, we are very lucky to have Terry Foster in here, Detroit legend. And we, of course, are joined, but they are switched today.
We are.
My man KG is doing production. And Mr. Bowling Green, Pete Spivak, is in the sound booth. What's up, gentlemen?
Well,
What's
got a
going
big
on,
game
boys? A little
right now.
distracted right now. Down 14-5 in the third quarter, guys.
There you go. Brown it down, baby. Brown
I really
it down.
appreciate Kenny G filling in for me today, by
I got
the way.
you, brother.
I
Don't worry
appreciate
about
you,
it.
my friend.
Pete is sweating. So, Terry, how was your Thanksgiving? I want to hear about the food. I heard that there was some wild stuff that happened at your dinner.
Yes, Big Ralph fell
Big
at
Ralph.
the end of the evening.
He sound like somebody that's going to fall. Big
And the
Ralph.
thing is, he had pots and pans in his hand.
Oh, boy.
And it wasn't funny when he fell, but it was funny. Because after he fell and said, oh, shit, the pots went
Fox too.
Fox too.
And they just kept clanging for 15, 20 minutes.
Sounded worse than it actually was. Big Ralph, okay?
Yeah, Big Ralph was okay.
All right, good.
Big Ralph.
How about you, KG? How was your Thanksgiving?
It was solid, man. I picked up a couple plates from my sister's house. Shout out Tammy. The food was great. Can't wait to get to them leftovers. But, I mean, I was here, man.
Yes,
Shout
sir.
out to the watch party, man. Shout out for Stick for looking out for us on the food. And, it was a good time, man. Lions got the victory, and that's all I care about.
Now, KG, before the show started, you were talking about two different types of Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Well, actually, I was T-Foss.
Okay,
That was me saying
that was
it.
you?
Yeah, if we
Fill
can
us in.
have fun, there's Black Thanksgiving and White Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And I was going to quiz you guys on 11 things to see if you had a Black Thanksgiving or a White Thanksgiving.
I like it.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
You ready? Okay. Let's roll.
Oh, we
All
doing it right now.
Write this down.
Let's
Did
do
you
it.
have pumpkin pie or sweet potato pie?
Yeah.
I had neither, but I would prefer sweet potato pie all day long.
Okay.
Can't
It
do
was-
See, I
pumpkin.
brought
was
that
apple.
up earlier in the week, and see, I'm a sweet potato pie guy,
You can't
but I
even say
love
it.
the bean
Right.
pie. Give me a bean pie. I want that extra spice.
He said he was
Muslim or
bringing.
something?
I'm a Detroiter, man.
Okay.
I said the same thing.
Okay. Did you have dressing or stuffing?
Stuffing.
Oh, that's interesting.
Dressing.
Stuffing.
Yeah, dressing. We call it dressing. You guys call it stuffing.
It's the same thing, though. It
We
doesn't
do
really
call it
matter.
stuffing, don't we?
Right. Okay. Were there sirens going on when you were eating dessert?
That's a good one.
Because if it was, that was a Black thing.
No, well,
sirens, dude. No sirens.
we didn't have sirens, but was there music? Were there people outside?
Right.
Absolutely, yeah. But no sirens this time, though. No sirens.
Now, the first Christmas song that you played, was it by Dean Martin or the Spinners?
Oh, you know the spinners all
Dean
day.
Martin.
All right, here you go,
I gotta
Dean
catch up
Martin.
on that one. I'm writing that one down. What's the name of that song?
I have no idea. But, everybody makes a Christmas
Yeah,
album.
we all know the soulful Christmas
All right.
music is
And
the
this
best.
one, you guys already know. Did anyone over 300 pounds fall at your Thanksgiving?
We didn't have a Big Ralph, so no.
Yeah,
I got
we get people who fall like every year. And it's usually 300-pound women.
That's at older Black Thanksgivings.
Yeah.
People falling.
Where more than half of your guests sleep by the start of the second game.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I should hope so. That game wasn't worth staying up
That's
for.
a little bit. I don't think that's black or white. That's just
Actually,
normal.
they were, yes.
Now, that might be gender neutral. Or,
Yeah. Race neutral, you mean?
All right.
Gender neutral.
Did you get a plate or did you take food home?
Oh, I both. I got a plate and I took food home.
I had 2 big plates and I took food home.
Now, what was it called? That's the thing. White people take food home. Black people get a plate.
Oh,
no,
that's
I
what
took
you meant.
I took food home.
Well, you
Okay,
heard
there
me
you
at the
go.
beginning of the show. I would have got a couple plates from my
I took
sis.
food home.
Shout out sis.
All right. When the Lions game was over and you'd already eaten, what card game did you play? Was it bid whist or euchre?
Oh, we didn't play cards, but it would have been euchre.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
In my
another
house,
divide right there.
in my household, it would have been spades, but
yeah.
euchre is also an acceptable. Tonk is also
Tonk.
an acceptable
Tonk.
game as well.
Okay.
Man, I've
Tonk.
heard that in a long
Tonk
time.
is the
Anybody
best.
at your Thanksgiving start screaming, Boston, Boston, Boston.
No. I gotta say no. That's a no for me. It's a no
That's
for me
usually
though.
what happens when you play bid whist and you sweep
Oh.
the thing.
What is bid whist? I've
You
never
start
heard of it.
screaming Boston. Your second dessert, was it apple pie or peach cobbler?
Apple pie.
Ooh.
Apple
I
pie.
wish it was peach cobbler.
I brought some
apple
apple
pie.
pie from the watch party home, but I wish I had some peach cobbler.
But
though.
it was
Yeah.
made by a white woman.
It was.
to be fair.
and
That's
it's
true.
good.
It was.
Wifey
Very
approves. So
Sounds good.
yeah,
Uh,
that's apple pie pretty versatile.
Apple pies, mostly for our Caucasian friends.
Yeah,
Sweet.
yeah.
And then peach cobblers, usually our second dessert.
That's the
Sometimes
second
it's pecan
dessert.
pie.
No, I don't like peas. See, you lost me at pecan.
Yeah. Did you have mashed potatoes or macaroni and cheese?
Both.
You had
Both. Both.
Do you know I'm 65 years old. I've only had mashed potatoes at Thanksgiving once in my life.
That's a crime.
Really?
That is a crime.
That is a crime.
Yeah, I don't.
Now, see,
Our
That's
starch
a
is
staple.
Mac and cheese.
mac and cheese has gravitated towards white Thanksgiving over the last 10 years. It was something that
But y'all
wasn't
still
part of
do
That's
mashed
true.
potatoes.
always. Always.
we
without
did
exception.
Always with gravy. Yes.
We didn't. We didn't do mashed potatoes.
That's
Does that
crazy.
And
hurt
none of
you
our
a little
neighbors
bit?
did. No.
No?
Mashed potatoes. I mean, it's
Every
a
time black
potato.
people cook, mashed potatoes is involved most of the time.
What about you, KG?
Just
Do
being
you not
real.
care about mashed potatoes?
No, I had mashed potatoes in mine.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
oh
mashed
yeah,
potatoes
that's
in
a
a box.
staple.
Sure.
Man.
I mean, come on now.
Sure.
So that's no fun.
Yeah.
funny
No, we
as
had
got any
both,
more
but
over
you
there?
have to have mashed potatoes
Yeah.
with spice in them.
Did you get the
Do
sweet
you?
potato
Yeah.
casserole with marshmallows?
Oh,
hell
no.
yeah.
No, I passed.
You lost
on
me
it.
at
It was
casserole.
available,
don't
but I
like that,
passed.
but that's what we could.
You lost me at casserole.
Second, did you have pig feet or hog maws cooking in the background just in case the turkey and the ham messed up?
Oh, it's Friday for real.
Neither,
you can tell.
baby.
No, I ain't had none of that.
We did. We had pig's feet every Thanksgiving.
That's the
we
older-
didn't actually eat it, but it was there just in case the turkey got.
That's
jacked up.
hilarious.
That
No,
would
that's
make
the older
me
black.
feel extra white.
Yeah,
I'm not going to lie.
That's
right
the
there.
older black Thanksgiving right there. The pig's feet, hog maw.
Yeah, hog maw. Ugh.
Oh, the hog maw.
Nasty.
Oh my goodness.
So I think that's 11.
So do you guys do greens over green bean casserole?
Yes,
Yes.
collard greens.
Now,
Yes,
see, I'm all for that.
yeah, collard greens all day.
Yeah, collard greens, not the mustard greens.
You can do
But you
mustard
get
greens,
mustard-
but
you can do a mixture. But
Yeah,
we
yeah.
like collard greens.
yeah, no, collard greens
Now,
for sure.
in fact, here's what we did health-wise.
Okay.
My grandmother one year stopped using salt pork to season the collard greens and started using turkey wings, smoked turkey wings.
Oh, not bad.
So that's
okay.
supposed to be more healthy.
Interesting.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, we've got white or black Thanksgivings, but here in Detroit, we've mostly had losing Thanksgivings. That is not how it worked out yesterday. It was a close one. I'm assuming, Terry, that you got a chance to watch this game.
I did watch the game, but let me just say this. Every time the Lions played the Bears, at least the last 3 times, I felt like the Lions lost the game. Last year, they lost 28-13, then were losing by 12 points with 4 minutes left. And then yesterday, I thought at the end, the Bears were the better team. It felt like they had lost again, but they won. And so they're 2-1 in those games.
Yeah. It felt like that Jahmyr Gibbs fumble at the time wasn't quite the deal that it turned out to be. This is a Bears offense that had no first downs through the whole first half, and then right after they get that fumble, they get a little bit of movement, they get some first downs, and they carry that momentum into halftime, and they looked like, I hate to say it, but they were the better team in the second half.
Yes. Now I'm going to get myself in trouble.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Am
don't do
I
it.
the only guy here, and this is a play I think fired up the Bears, am I the only one here who thought the Jack Campbell hit on Caleb Williams was dirty?
Yes.
See, I don't. I don't. And this goes back, we talked about it yesterday during the watch party. I go back to the Hard Knocks where they brought in the slip and slide for Caleb because he really struggled to slide.
Yeah.
And I thought right there he kind of made a mental decision slide, but his body didn't fully go through with it, and he kind of got caught where he was still up in the air. You felt that he went after his knees. I felt he kind of hit him in the midsection, but
Well, no, he did hit him in the midsection, but he was aiming for the knees.
Okay.
And he missed.
yeah, because he was low. He was lower at that point, and that's where his knees were. But for me,
You can't call that dirty. It was inbounds, and when you're a free runner in the NFL, you're not in the pocket. That's the risk you
I didn't
take.
say dirty, not illegal. It was legal, but it was dirty.
I don't think it was dirty. That's a stretch.
Because you don't go at a guy's knees like that in that situation.
What kind of impact do you think that had on the rest of the game?
I thought it fired up the Bears. Oh, you gonna mess with our quarterback? We've been brain dead the whole game. No more.
And that's interesting because we've seen at the end of some games where they lost, where he was on the ground and nobody came to help him up and teammates weren't talking to him. But I have to agree with you on that one, Terry. I felt like that was a galvanizing moment for that whole team. They rallied around their young rookie quarterback. And, hey, I mean, coming in, everybody was giving them no shot. This is a team that really should have gotten blown out here at Ford Field, and they represented well. And as much as I call him Catfish Caleb, he showed us that he's got a future in the NFL in the second half.
Yeah, he was fantastic in the second half. But I think the other thing is the decimation of the Lions' defense. I think by then their defensive line was tired. The D-backs, when you have Vildor in the game, you're in trouble, man.
Certainly, yeah. There's
in fact, I have a new term. If somebody messes with you, like if someone would walk up to you and smack you in the face and you not do anything, you know what I call that? You just got Vildor.
Oh my God! You got to lay off a little bit,
I hope
Terry.
he's
He
not
had a good
watching.
game yesterday. The flag that was thrown on him, I didn't agree with it at all. I thought that was a BS call by the
Vegas.
refs, and they missed a call, not an offsides, but a false start call on the Bears on that particular play. But that
They
was
did.
not a bad.
They did.
He didn't play bad.
But Vildor made the play of the game that may have helped the Lions. He was the one that got picked by Clement.
That's a good call.
So it was Vildor.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big moment for us. Hey, this next man mentality, I know that we've been saying it and hearing it ad nauseum, but this team came in severely depleted on one side of the ball, and they lost even more guys during that game. And in the past, this was the type of game, this was the SOL game. This was a good Lions team going in, playing down to their opponent and losing. For me, great teams win when they play bad. And what I see is 3 games for Lions where they've been bad, but they're 2-1. And that's Tampa Bay, that's the Texans, and that's yesterday.
That's how you know they elite.
Right, true. And the other thing, and I think we've gotten spoiled around here, in the NFL, half of your games are supposed to be close. Half of your games are supposed to be one-score games. Half of your games you're supposed to be sweating at the end like, oh my God, who's going to win this game? The Lions haven't been that. And so you expect a game like yesterday. And then maybe not going up 16-0 and then it being a nail-biter, but, a back-and-forth type of game, that's to be expected.
Yeah.
Especially when you play division games, because Bears, Vikings, Lions, Packers, they all hate each other.
Oh, no doubt. For me, I've been watching these Lions fans get really, really puffy in the chest. And without having to take a loss, that game I felt kind of brought everybody down, and we can start having some honest conversations again instead of just assuming 19-1. So
That's what I was assuming. In fact, I had here's where I stumped people. A few weeks ago when they were 8-1, I said the most optimistic Lion fans said they would finish 14-3. Pick 2 losses for me now. And everybody go, don't know.
And that's, to me, crazy. You just hit the nail on the head. All of your games, they're supposed to be mostly close. You're supposed to lose half. That's average. When you're in this kind of a situation, each week, the Lions fan base has to treat it the same way that locker room is taking it. They're not looking to February right now. So
You're not supposed to lose half if you're a good team.
Well, true.
You're supposed to still win the majority of close games.
Yeah.
You just find a way to do it.
No doubt.
Instead of falling apart like the Bears did.
Well, we're getting close to a break right now, so we're going to take that and pay some Bills. But we will be right back here with the legend Terry Foster.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I am here to tell y'all about 1800 Tequila. It is the best tequila in the game right now and the official tequila Woodward Sports Lions watch parties and post-game show. Join 1800 Tequila and Woodward Sports every single Lions game live from Hayes Social in Shelby Township and celebrate all those wins with smooth 1800 Tequila. Proud sponsor of your and our Detroit Lions. 1800 Tequila is the best taste in tequila, y'all, and please drink responsibly.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today. Can't get enough Lions coverage? Make sure you catch all Woodward sports shows every game day. Wake up with Woodward and Maine, giving you the latest insight into the Lions locker room and press conferences. Then join the Lions pregame show, highlighting key matchups, injuries, and what to watch for during the game. Follow all the ups and downs of the live game action with our Woodward Watch Party live on YouTube and woodwardsports.com. After the game, check out the instant fan and host reactions with the Lions postgame show. Every game, it's wall-to-wall, kneecap biting, high-fiving, chest-pumping Lions coverage.
Hell yeah!
Only at Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Woodward Sports, let's go!
But feeling the financial pinch, I know y'all is out there, man. Mark White and Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to 5 G's of your closing costs. That's right, I said $5,000. Call Mark White and Associates today at 248-290-8242, or you can visit them at markwhitesales.com. Again, call Mark White today, and I mean today, 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true.
Welcome back to the Ermanni and Edwards with Maz show, but those three are enjoying a little bit of vacation time, so we are joined here by the legendary
Where my vacation?
Terry Foster and, of course, Pistol Pete and my man KG. So we just kind of talked about the Bears and the Lions game, and I know that there's a topic that people in Detroit want to talk about, the Pearl Clutchers and the super fans. There's a massive divide, and he is a lightning rod, and we are talking about Mr. Jameson Williams. J-Mo gave himself and the rest of Detroit and the nation something to talk about yet again this last week, and it was out of bounds. It was something I bet he probably didn't think would be caught by the refs or the cameras, but he had a little bit of too good of aim. Terry, how'd you feel about the penalty against J-Mo yesterday?
It was justified. It was unsportsmanlike, and it's J-Mo being stupid again. And he, once I keep using the word professional, he needs to be more of a professional. But in the grand scheme of things, that's just what he does. And we were on. I was on with Matt Broder this morning. We got someone who was listening to the show was upset with J-Mo and said, "Well, now do the Lions use a 5th-round pick to get rid of him? Bring in a 5th-round pick to get rid of J-Mo." I'm like, that's absolutely ridiculous.
Laughable.
No thanks. So we're going to spend a 1st and a 3rd to get a 5th?
Right.
No, thank you.
Make it make sense.
No,
Now that he knows how to run a route, now that he knows how to exploit a defense, now that he's actually helping the Lions win, get rid of him now. That makes no sense.
No, and this guy has really become a huge part of this offense. Yesterday we saw Laporta finally kind of arrive, but I think that it's been at the expense of Laporta. But what this guy can do to a defense what he can even do to a defensive coordinator before the game even starts is keep a guy up at night, keep your entire defense guessing, and to have that during the playoff run, it's indispensable. Something has to change, though, and we've talked for a few weeks now, and Braylon and I, we've talked about how much having Stanley, his father, and a good circle around him when things could have gone the wrong way to keep him on that straight and narrow. Well, straight and somewhat narrow.
Yeah.
When you talk about J-Mo, none of these are egregious errors. None of these things are something that should be a catalyst to trade him away for nothing but a fifth rounder. But something does have to change because realistically, the only infighting in the Lions fan base right now, it's coming over J-Mo.
Right, and he makes knucklehead decisions, but like you said, it's nothing egregious. But in an NFL locker room, you need probably 7 to 8 knuckleheads. And these are guys that step outside of the bounds, things that surprise you. But on the flip side is they give you exceptional play. Like C.D. Lamb is a knucklehead. The dude can play. Mm-hmm. Many of your top wide receivers, like back in the Ocho Cinco, knucklehead. But he could play. Chris Carter back in the day, knucklehead. You never knew what he was going to do until he got mature at the end, but he made exceptional plays. So you have to tolerate that to a certain extent in the NFL. But if he's going to do stuff that gets himself suspended all the time, then maybe you need to look in a different direction. But I just think he will continue to do little silly things that annoy you, but don't really break the bank.
Yeah, I like that take. For me, everybody's been talking and comparing Zadarius Smith with Rasheed Wallace. Now, in terms of personality out there, I get the midseason trade comparison, but yesterday it was Sam or Stick that said, this is our Rasheed. And I guess I'm wondering, as nicely behaved as this team is, even though they're going to step on your neck on the field, is it kind of cool? Is it a plus to have a guy that kind of,
you got to have some attitude.
The disruptor?
Zadarius is not a disruptor, but he has a gregarious personality like Rasheed did. Rasheed Wallace was brought in because if they didn't have him, the Pistons were not going to win that championship in 2004. The belief around here is that the Lions didn't get more of a pass rush when Hutch was hurt, they're not going to win a championship. So I see the comparisons. And Zadarius saw that too when he wore the Rasheed Wallace uniform. I think it's the perfect comparison.
Yeah. Now, what about J-Mo, though? Is J-Mo kind of seems like our agitator out there, even though it's on the offensive side, but you see him lay some wicked blocks out there. You see him really just blow the game wide open with some of his game-breaking plays. But he's also out there getting in the opponent's head, which is what he did yesterday. Maybe it might have backfired, though.
Yeah, it backfired yesterday. But, the thing with J-Mo, I know he talks to Megatron. And Megatron, we know him for his spectacular catches. We know him for catching a ball between 4 Dallas Cowboy defensive backs. But here's the thing that's not talked about that he did. Megatron would block his behind off. And that's the thing that the Lions really liked about him. Yeah, he was this high-profile guy, Hall of Famer and everything, but he would block people. And I think J-Mo probably got that from Megatron. At least I'm going to credit him.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have to block.
We actually have
this one you do.
Sound on J-Mo
Yes,
talking
please.
about it.
Let's hear it.
All right.
We're trying to win a football game, so those things like that can't happen. That's the main thing.
How do you continue to grow from a mistake like that?
Just don't do it again,
I'll be honest with you, that's already cleaned up. It's already cleaned up. So we're good. And as a matter of fact, J-Mo got right in front of the team a minute ago, unsolicited, and wanted to apologize to his teammates. That's big, man. It's growth. And it's all good.
Yeah, hopefully no more apologies to his teammates from J-Mo. But, KG, I heard the term clean it up.
Yeah.
And that's what we were talking towards the end of the watch party yesterday. And then when we went into the post-game show, we talk about good losses and bad losses. We all felt that Dallas was a good loss last year. Obviously, since they've rattled off 10 straight since the Tampa Bay loss, that was a good loss. The close game, in Texas, in Houston. That was one of those eye-openers. Okay, we got to clean some stuff up. And now they go for 3 straight weeks without giving a touchdown, and they just blow the competition away. So is this the type of situation where we saw a bunch of not a bunch of sloppy play, but just enough situations that were sloppy from like the hit that Terry brought up with Laporta to the fumble by Gibbs to the penalty here by J-Mo. We said this is an opportunity by still getting the win here where you don't hurt anybody's confidence, but you do put that spotlight on the errors and some of the mistakes and shortcomings that this team has that the fan base is really unwilling to talk about, but you know they're talking about in the locker room, and it sounds like he's already cleaned it up.
Yeah. And I totally agree. And, you know, yes, you want to clean those things up, but no, you're not necessarily concerned because this is an 11-1 team. They do know how to win at this point in their development. Of course, it's an execution game. You got to go out there. You can't have a fumble when you're about to go up another score on a lowly team. You know, you can't have a missed field goal in an opportune spot. You know, there are things to clean up with this team. No run is perfect, but ultimately, and I've said this all day and I will continue to say it, the Lions are at the point now where they don't have to play a perfect game in order to win, but the opponent does. They have to come in here and they can't make too many mistakes on the Lions because the Lions will find ways to exploit that and win ball games. And you know, for the Lions, it's a testament to how elite they've become, how well they're coached. Yes, you don't have to play your 100% best. Do you want to? Absolutely. Every week you want to go out there and play clean football. You want to play a perfect game, but that's just not the reality in the National Football League. The other side gets paid too. There are going to be mistakes, but the mistakes can't be detrimental. And that's something that the Lions have avoided this year, making detrimental mistakes or mistakes that will literally cost you games. I mean, we've seen it with the Bucs game, but ever since then, you saw they learned from the mistakes in that game, and they have carried that into every single victory this year, whether it be a good team that they match up well against, or whether it's a Titans or a Bears or, you know, one of the lowlier franchises in the NFL. So I like what they're doing personally, man. They are an experienced team at this point. They've been in the same system for 3 to 4 years. They know what they're doing. They know the things they need to work on, and they will.
Terry, what would you clean up?
I would clean up red zone. Yesterday that offense was pretty spectacular. They dominated the first half, but once they got inside the 20, I don't know what was happening.
Yeah. 3 field goals, only 1 touchdown.
Right.
Yeah.
And normally when you kick field goals, you lose. And so the Lions didn't use, but they put themselves in a position where the game became tight. Instead of it being possibly 28-0, it was 19-0, or 18-0, and then 16-0.
16-0.
They made it. Then you give confidence to the Bears. The Bears like, man, we just got run up and down the field. They clowned us, and then you look up at this. Oh, we're only down 16-0.
Yeah, a lot of people talking.
Good.
A lot of people focus on the confidence of the offense that you saw develop in the second half for the Bears. I like what you went with there. Getting those stops in the red zone, holding them to 16 points instead of 28, I think that fueled that defense in the second half. And we really saw a Lions offense that struggled against that defense in the second half.
Yeah, but once again, the Lions did enough to win. But, you heard something out of the Chicago Bears locker room you will probably never hear out of the Lions locker room. The player said, we did enough to win. Mm-hmm. In other words, we did our jobs, our coaches didn't.
And that's coming from a serious veteran in Keenan Allen.
Right.
Yeah.
So
that is a fact.
That's why Eberflus was fired, because you're losing that locker room. This is the first time that the Bears are in game. I mean, they screwed up against Green Bay. They screwed up against Minnesota. They screwed up against the Commanders. So this is what the Bears do. They play you tough, but they don't know how to finish. They're not a smart team.
No doubt. And that's their coach, who seems like a complete nincompoop.
Right. Yeah. And we're going to get into that, definitely. Yeah, but I do have Dan Campbell sound on this real quick before we go to break.
We'll clean up the other stuff that cost us some points. I'm not worried about that, but I will take this W and I'm not going to lose sleep over it.
And I hope no Lions fans are losing sleep over it. If anything, the conversation has just gotten a little bit more honest. Terry mentioned the fact that Eberflus was fired, and we will get to that when we return from the break.
Yes, sir. And we got Planet Fitness next. Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential. And, you know, there are 50-plus Metro Detroit locations. Planet Fitness is everywhere, y'all. And they've had the best deal in exercising for quite some time. $15 a month, man. You go get that black card. You can go to any Planet Fitness anywhere in the world, man. And there are plenty of them. So go out there, man. You know it's post-Thanksgiving. You want to get back right. You know, you had a little too much fun yesterday, and that's understandable. But go work some of that off at Planet Fitness, man, where your fitness is essential.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
You don't know already, you should. You can walk into any Lady Jane's 7 days a week and get that $20 haircut special. That includes a scalp massage, hot leather, neck shave, and a hot towel treatment from one of the amazingly talented stylists that they have at Lady Jane's. Just scan that code, the QR code you see over in that corner, and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircut for Men, once again, open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome. Welcome back on a Thanksgiving weekend Friday. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, and once again, they are not here. They are enjoying their families today, but we are joined by the legend Terry Foster, and of course KG and Pete. Pete, you are excited over there.
Can
What's
I make
going on,
one
buddy?
announcement?
Oh,
it's
God.
gone. It's now 14-12 as BG just scored, baby. So go
and for
Falcons!
those of you that don't know, BG is Bowling Green.
That's right. We're in the winner of today's game will make it to Detroit on December 7th for the MAC title game. So BG, Miami of Ohio, playing right now on ESPN.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with Bowling Green, it's that football stadium you see on I-75.
Exit
when you're
181
driving down to Cincinnati.
Exit 181 on I-75, baby.
Nice. Well, there will be one loser in that matchup
That's right.
today, but there was certainly a loser yesterday, and that was Matt Eberflus, the coach of the Chicago Bears, who, as we talked about during the watch party and then afterwards in the post game, this guy all season long, I felt, was making blunders as a coach, and he made a huge one, absolutely fumbling the last 32 seconds of that game, which really cost the Bears an extra shot to kick a field goal or even win that game. But I believe we've got some footage of Mr. Eberflus and on his way out.
Yeah, in his last moments.
Yeah, I like what we did there. Again, once it's under 7, you're gonna call timeout there, or actually under 12, and then really you don't have an option. Because it's 3rd to 4th, you got to throw it into the end zone then. So to me, it's I think we handled it the right way. I do believe that you just re-rack the play, get it in bounce, and call timeout, and that's why we held it, and didn't work out the way we wanted it to.
Terry, if he didn't get fired for what actually happened in the last 32 seconds, I would have fired him for saying what he just said right there, that they handled it correctly.
I was exactly thinking that. I would have had that hook that you get and get him out of there. To do, you've had enough. You're out of here.
Unbelievable. Doubling down and explaining away most mismanaged last 30 seconds I think I've ever seen in a close game like
NFL
that.
history.
Unbelievable.
The thing that kills me about coaches, they never make a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
It just didn't work out. But you handled it the right way.
Unbelievable.
Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong, and it was the exact wrong decision.
And we've seen the antithesis of that from our head coach.
No,
He
this-
will always take responsibility and put it on his shoulders and defend his players. He doesn't say, hey, we did the right thing here. Hey, we screwed up. This is on me. And that you don't see that because, like you said, coaches are never wrong. So it's what a breath of fresh air it is to have who we have here when you watch a clip like that.
Yeah. Get out of here, dude. Really, we handled things the right way. What exactly did you handle correctly? Would be a question I would ask.
I mean, you have a few options there. You can come in and have a play ready to rock, and you get it off, and you try and get out of bounds. Even if you snap the ball with 12 seconds left, you go out of bounds, and you give your kicker an opportunity. What happened there is not only did they not really know if they should take a timeout or not, I heard that the assistant coach was telling them that they had used it and that they didn't have it. Another coaching gaffe. But now you've got an opportunity to make a play, but you're looking at Caleb Williams, and we'll get to him in a moment.
Rookie.
But Caleb is there, and he was looking better than the coach was because he's like, where the hell is the play? Give me a damn play.
Well, he didn't like the play.
Oh, okay.
The play was a quarterback draw.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was like, no, we can't run that. So it was partly his fault, too. You know what? In a situation like that where the clock is running, even if the coach is called a quarterback sneak, you just got to run it.
That's right. And
Don't be trying to change the play.
And even with getting the ball off at 7 seconds, I don't care if you're a rookie, you have to have the awareness to understand that if you throw the ball downfield instead of an out, game's over. And that's what we saw.
But I mean, they had a timeout though, so even if you wanted to take a play to the middle of the field, you could have did that. It's on the coach.
They wasted a timeout on an incomplete pass during that same drive.
Yeah, they
So
did.
if you didn't do that, you'd have 2 timeouts.
But to go from 32 seconds to 7 seconds is crazy.
25 seconds just wasted trying to figure out a call.
Dude, you got time to run 3 plays.
Well, if you take a
If you're
timeout
lucky.
right with the 32-second, you can litter the sidelines with attempts, and then, okay, we got something, we didn't get something, let's kick now because we got a dead ball. But that didn't happen. I'm curious to hear what Caleb had to say about that because I've been watching Twitter for about a month now. Man, 5-6 games straight? And the reaction videos of Bears fans at these ends of these close heartbreakers for them, I mean, they had to have wanted blood throughout Chicago, and they got it.
Hey, been there, done that. But we do have Caleb sound.
Catfish.
We don't really have. I don't have a microphone to speak to coach or anything like that. So there wasn't like any huge communication in that situation. You get a call with that time. You gotta try and get the guys back, get everybody lined up so you go run a play. And excuse me. We got lined up, got the play, and then I made an adjustment. Because I saw the clock running down, knowing that if we complete a ball in bounds or anything like that, we won't have time to kick a field goal or anything like that. So, I made an adjustment, and knew Rome was either going to be one-on-one or he was going to, beat the safety and be one-on-one there, and tried to give him a shot, and we got the shot and missed.
Now, I've been this kid's harshest critic since December, January. I never understood why people were looking past Jaden Daniels to look at this guy. And then early on, you see them lose to the Texans, and C.J. Stroud kind of come over to talk to him and give him some pointers. He seemed very disinterested. I saw that a lot. You saw DJ Moore kind of quit on this guy. I have to say, over this losing streak, I've watched this kid mature. The way that he handled that end of that game obviously was not high-level awareness by any means, but seeing that presser, seeing the way that he's been he hasn't lost this team. In fact, DJ Moore has become a bigger part of it after you thought he might get benched after leaving the play at that final. So for me, he's growing on me. What did you think about that press?
All right, first of all, that's DJ Moore's fault. As an NFL player, you have to understand this is a rookie quarterback, which is the toughest position in the world. Now, back in the day here, I'm going to show my age. What used to happen was you drafted a quarterback and you sit him for a year or two. And then after that, he was fine. Now what you're doing is you draft the guy high and then you expect him to lead you to the playoffs. Now, it doesn't happen. Peyton Manning, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, Hall of Famer, threw 27 interceptions his rookie year.
Yeah.
Every rookie stinks. But now we've put unfair expectations on it. Caleb Williams is going to be fine. I think Justin Fields would have worked out in Chicago.
Certainly. Well, the other thing for me is you see over in Denver, it's been since 1967 that the Broncos put a C on a rookie's chest. But that's an older guy. That's a guy that I felt could kind of handle that, and he certainly has. He's done it very well. But when you put that C on Caleb's chest and you put him out there, he's a younger guy. Stick always says he's not a leader of men. He has a different type of personality. It's a more millennial type of personality, one that might not reach everybody, might not have the right frequency for his entire team. I felt that not only all of the national, I'll say pressure because they anointed this kid before he stepped on the field, but then the Bears did the same thing. And I just don't think that this kid's been put in a position to succeed. You look at the past two guys between Trubisky and Fields, and these guys both had two different quarterbacks with two different offensive systems to learn in their first two seasons. And that is kryptonite for a young quarterback, no matter how savvy you are upstairs.
The thing that hurts Caleb Williams the most is he's playing for the Chicago Bears.
Hey.
They are not leaders of men.
No.
And I think it's a mistake to put the C on some guy who's a rookie. First of all, when he walks in there, he's like, man, these are some grown-ass men around here. These are dudes with babies and families and wives. I'm just this dude out of USC. I don't even know what's happening yet. So how am I going to be a captain?
Right.
Dude with a purse. Hey, it was a cool looking purse, but that might not be the right frequency to reach everyone. I thought that they did a disservice to him. I thought that the national pundits did a disservice to him. We've got this amazing group of quarterbacks, and everybody's anointing this guy tops. But again, it does come down to the Bears. It comes down to the Bears and the decisions that they made this offseason to get this kid when they could have refueled their offensive line, brought back a guy that was already playing pretty damn well. I mean, he beat the Lions last year. So, I think it's great for the Bears that they got rid of Eberflus, but it's only going to hurt Caleb Williams having to learn a brand new system again.
That's true. He's got a new offensive coordinator, new head coach. He's going to be put behind behind again.
Yeah.
But that's because, once again, the Bears are a bad organization.
Yeah.
Now, but this is a team, if they have some semblance of leadership, they could be the team that takes over this division because they got some good young players. They got some solid there, but now you got to put them in position to win. Now you got to find coaches who are like the Lion coaches who motivate players, stimulate players, and educate players.
Mm-hmm. If you're running the Bears, who would be on your short list of head coaching candidates for next year?
I would go with defensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions.
Yikes! I was hoping you were not going to say that.
I'm getting one of the Lions coaches.
Yeah, AG has done so much with so little for 2 years, and then this year he was given so much and he's lost almost all of it. But he continues to hold teams to 20 or less points week in and week out.
Yeah, I think he's the one. He can motivate players more. He's got more stories to tell than Ben Johnson. He has more experience than Ben Johnson. But on the other hand, I like hiring offensive coordinators to take over franchises, especially when you got a guy like Caleb Williams. So maybe the play is Ben Johnson.
I don't think Detroit Lion fans like hearing either of those names.
Well, you know what? Welcome to big boy school.
Truth.
When you're a good team, guess what? People want your players. They want your coaches. That's the way it goes.
If
I'm the Bears, I'm coming after Ben Johnson or Aaron Glenn.
Or both. It's business. It's business.
Or
it's
both
not personal.
coaches. There we go.
For sure. Pete, you all right over there? No?
Yeah, he was just happy a second
I'm not
ago.
all right.
Well, we'll get an update on the Bowling Green action when we get back. We're going to pay a couple of bills, Woodward.
Yes, we are. And we are going to Dr. Pierce. And unfortunately, we got to have T-Foss on the read because I'm having trouble with the cameras. But Dr. Pierce, attention sports fans, don't miss out on expert sports injury analysis with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Join Dr. Pierce every Tuesday during Big D Energy and every Thursday during Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, where he offers top-notch injury advice and maybe some of that secret sauce too. Trust the guy that D-Mac trusts. Dr. Jeff Pierce is here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsandSpine.com or call 248-426-9944. We'll be right back.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome. Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
It's bear hunting season, and Dan Campbell is hungry for some kneecaps.
If you can just get a hold of them and you start dragging their ass out to the deep, dark abyss, you can drown them.
The Kings of the North are back for another year of the brand new Lions. Make sure you're locked in to Detroit's #1 sports network for all the news and info on your Detroit Lions.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Can't get enough Lions coverage? Make sure you catch all Woodward sports shows every game day. Wake up with Woodward and Maine, giving you the latest insight into the Lions locker room and press conferences. Then join the Lions pregame show, highlighting key matchups, injuries, and what to watch for during the game. Follow all the ups and downs of the live game action with our Woodward Watch Party live on YouTube and WoodwardSports.com. After the game, check out the instant fan and host reactions with the Lions postgame show. Every game, it's wall-to-wall, kneecap-biting, high-fiving, chest-pumping Lions coverage.
Hell yeah!
Only at Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Now, we've been telling you, Soroka's been taking over the world in Metro Detroit with those crispy biscuits. Check out their new Fenton and Heartland locations today. Don't miss out on their grand opening events in Fenton on December 5th and in Heartland on December 12th from 4 to 8. Enjoy exclusive giveaways, a chance to win free Sorokas for a year, and the cheapest gas in the state. Listen, these guys have the flavored wings. They're limited. You gotta try them. Their pizza is unbelievable. Touch of spice to it. The chicken strips, the chicken tenders, all of it is fantastic. And of course, you guys know I love those crispy biscuits. Come on, enjoy the fun, food, and unbeatable deals at Soroki's Crispy Chicken and Pizza. Once again, that's the 12th and the 5th of December at those two new locations you see there. All right, we're back. Woodward on a Friday, Ermanni and Edwards with Mr. Maz. Again, they're enjoying their families today, so we've got Terry Foster in.
That's actually a lie.
What are they up to?
They are trying to put a curse on Ohio State before the Michigan game.
I believe
that's what they're doing.
Is that going to work?
No.
No.
And then Monday they're going to call in sick because Ohio State is going to beat them. And then they're, I got a cold or I got COVID, I got something.
It's just going to be holiday.
None.
That's it.
Huh?
Holiday, extended holiday.
Yeah. I'm taking the holiday.
20-point spread in that game, but we're going to get to that in the second hour here. But right now, we have to... I did wear black today when I found out that Malcolm Rodrigo, one of our favorites, has been lost for the season to an ACL. I know what that's like. It's kind of never the same sense. But this guy was like the first find that these guys really had. I mean, obviously, Amon-Ra St. Brown is the one that everybody talks about, but Rodrigo was a guy that skill-wise wasn't necessarily supposed to be what he was, maybe not even have a spot on an NFL roster. But through grit and just perseverance, this guy's been a huge part of this team, huge part of our defense, and he's really stepped up this year after the injury. So losing him isn't just a blow to our linebacking unit, but I think that it's a blow to just kind of the overall mojo of this team.
Right, absolutely. And you have to understand, when he was a rookie, he was identified as, this guy is outworking all you veterans. Why are you allowing this to happen? And then he played, relatively well, and then he kind of disappeared because the Lions personnel got bigger or better, and so they didn't really need him. Now they need him again, and he's stepping up again. So he's sort of a backline player or backup player, but when they need him, he shows up and is a good addition to this defense.
He's like the Brandon Inge of this team.
Right.
He a little better than
People
Brandon
here don't
Inge.
like Brandon Inge.
He a little better than Brandon Inge.
I know he's another polarizing player.
Brandon Inge he hit 27 home runs one year.
Oh, that was great.
Oh, yeah. He was a lot of glue for that team. But so we did bring in David Long Jr., who just, I believe, last year had signed an $11 million contract with the Dolphins. And I felt that the Dolphins miscast him, asking him to do a lot of coverage. This is one of the better run support linebackers in the league. And then you go out today and we sign a guy in Quan Alexander, who to me is, he's played in the Super Bowl. I feel that his skills are still there, even though he wasn't really playing, or on a team, should I say. But this is a guy that brings a lot of experience. And I'm wondering how well you think that these two guys can fill in for Anzalone and for Rodrigo in that linebacking.
Well, I think they can fill in. I think right now what we're seeing with the Lions is there is a scheme. Muhammad.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Muhammad.
Oh, he had a great game.
The Prophet was awful. And then I'm like, oh, he can actually play.
Yeah.
So now I think the same thing will happen with them. The Lions have figured out how to get guys up to snuff. It may take them a couple weeks and everything, but the Lions are developing players before our eyes.
Yeah. And it's quite possible that even though David Long is not assimilated into this team fully, that he can do everything that Anzalone did. And I'll be quite honest with you, you can never replace the heart and that mojo that I talked about with Rodrigo. But Quan Alexander by no means is a downgrade. And in fact, with his experience and just understanding as a 10-year linebacker in this league, that he might, by the playoffs, be an upgrade.
He could be. Because, Rodrigo, once again, he's a yeoman guy. He works hard and everything. But is he an elite or near elite linebacker? No. But he provides the Lions with what they need right now. And Alexander can be that. Give him a few weeks, and he could be what Rodrigo is. Or if he's willing to listen to the coaches and allowed to be coached, he can be all that. I think, we talk about putting quarterbacks in systems. I think these defensive players are in a system where, this is all hokey and everything, but I'm playing not only for myself, but my guy next to me. That's what this defense looks like, because this defense is shredded. But they're still playing well.
It really is, and it speaks to that next man up mentality. But it really is a system where it seems like the culture is so strong that you can just plug somebody in. I mean, do you think, KG, that we're going to feel this loss for more than 1 week?
It's hard to say yes at this point because the Lions just seem to have a knack for, filling a need, or if it's next man up, the next man steps up and actually goes out there and makes plays. So at this point, I would say no. But I feel like Quan Alexander is a great pickup, especially for somebody this late in the season. You're getting a experienced veteran linebacker. Of course, he's not, what he once was. He was a little bit better in terms of, just being a premier linebacker in this league. And you would ask, okay, he's 30. He's coming off of a practice squad. Why is that? He was actually dealing with an ACL injury last year, so that's a big reason why he wasn't technically on anybody's real roster yet. But, the Lions just have a knack, especially if you fit the criteria that they want you to come in here and fill. They have a knack for just plugging and playing, like you said, and normally it doesn't always work out like that. You're not going to always hit on these type of guys, especially when you're digging in practice squads for guys like this, but like I said, he's a veteran. He's been around. He knows what he's doing. If he can pick up the playbook pretty quickly in some of the schemes that Aaron Glenn wants to run in his defense, he can have an impact. I mean, look at David Long Jr. He didn't, necessarily have a lot of playing time in his last game, but the times that he was out there, he was making an impact and affecting the defense in a positive way. So I expect the same thing from Quan Alexander. If he can stay healthy and just come in here and do what AG wants you to do, then I can see him have some success. Will he be like a premier linebacker or a top 10 linebacker? No, but he feels the need, and that's what they need right now.
Yeah, fellas, I got to stop us for a minute.
Uh-oh.
We're taking a walk down Silly Street.
Is we?
We are. The Lions could survive the loss of Hutchinson, so why can't they survive the loss of Rodrigo?
Real talk.
There's
that's true.
People.
But you're already down so many bodies. That's what I mean. Like, it's hard to just replace bodies with people from outside or on the street and just expect them to work. Not everybody's going to work. But like I said, if he comes in here and he does what he's supposed to do and follows AG schemes, I have no reason to say that he won't work out to this point.
The linebacking core has been a plug and play. No matter who it has been, I haven't seen real issues with it. We've lost a lot of guys and we found replacements. The defensive line is worrying me at this point. We got some good pressure in that game, but you saw Levi as well as Aleem kind of have a little bit of injuries there. You're looking at defensive tackles that are playing on the edge right now for this team. Yeah. And we don't really have a healthy rotation. You start pushing these guys past 70% snap counts, and you're going to start seeing more of them drop. So I've got some names I'd like to add.
Sure.
We brought this up a while ago. Actually, I'm going to save him for last. If you get help in the secondary, your help in the secondary is going to help your front line. There's two guys out there, guy who was just basically the best corner just a few years ago in Xavier Howard, and then a guy who was kind of miscast late in his career last year in Pittsburgh as a corner, but then they moved him to safety, and that would be a Patrick Peterson. If you bring a guy like that in who's hungry for a ring, who's never had it, has that experience, now you start looking at maybe moving Brian Branch back towards that nickel and providing a little more depth with that secondary, because now we're starting to see that depleted as well. How do you guys feel about those two names?
I'm not a proponent for Patrick Peterson now. Maybe a few years ago. He's still a fine, solid player, but I wouldn't move Brian Branch for Patrick Peterson. Mm-hmm. If I'd find another role for Peterson as a backup. I do not want to move Branch from the safety position. Now, originally, when injuries were a factor, I thought it would be great to move Brian Branch to nickel because I like him closer to the ball. Yeah. I want him blasting running backs. But then he's been so dynamic as a safety. You were wrong on that one.
And he got burned out of the nickel yesterday at one point, too. So the name that I saved for last is a name that I brought up I think actually right after Hutch went down. And it's J.J. Watt. This is a guy that says that he doesn't really want to go anywhere, that he's got his anchors and roots set down in Houston. But this is a guy whose legacy is missing one thing, and that is a Super Bowl victory. This guy coming in and just taking 50%, 40% of snaps, how do you think that would affect this team, and is it just a pure pipe dream?
It's a pure pipe dream, but I will say this. If he comes in and somehow they're able to get him, I think this would really get this defense or this whole team excited. J.J. Watt is an outstanding player, obviously, and J.J. Watt is not going to mess up your chemistry. He's going to come in and he not only will play well, but I think, like Zadarius Smith, he will say, hey, guys, let's do this. He will be a guy that will mentor younger players, even older players. So, yes, pipe dream, not going to happen, but if it happened, get that parade going.
Z, JJ, Levi, and Aleem. Weird, but after all these losses, you look at that front four, and you don't really see a whole lot of fall off from what we started the season with. Obviously not a shoo-in for Defensive Player of the Year, but man, what JJ would do to this team. And like you said, the excitement. As much as he's loved and he loves Houston, he doesn't know what it would be like to be on the Lions.
That's true. Let me warn you about something.
Please.
Players always have to say, the city they're in, I love it.
Sure.
I don't want to go anywhere else. Because if they give you a little sliver of, I'm looking elsewhere, then the fans will turn on them.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to make it seem like if you were to leave Houston, you would go kicking and screaming and you run to your mom and stuff like that. But there's certain things in athletics you must say.
Yeah. If you're going to be a Cardinal, I think you can certainly be a Lion. And chat, if you guys want to start your Twitter campaigns to get J.J. Watt here, we're all for it. But we're also all for our sponsors here at Woodward Sports. We're just going to take a moment to let you know about them.
And it's KDK Law. You want to tell them about KDK Law?
I do, because, there's some scary stuff that we deal with when it comes to family law, visitation, child custody, and divorce. But you have nothing to fear if you've got Kevin and Catherine of KDK Law having your back. They're right here in Birmingham. They've got 10 plus years of experience and that ever important 24/7 availability. You see that QR code right above my head? Give it a scan or call them at 248-971-0476. Do not forget to mention that Woodward Sports sent you, because then they will take care of your filing fee. KDK Law, they got your back.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you. A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Are you overdue for a new car? Well, winter is coming. So beat the holiday rush and get an amazing deal from Les Stanford Chevrolet. Right now, they're offering a Blazer EV 2LT with all-wheel drive for only $149 a month. Or you could check out the Equinox EV LT for only $169 per month. Get to Les Stanford today or click on that QR code. It's right above my head. And check out their amazing, massive inventory. Don't forget, Les Stanford has Cadillac, Buick, and GMC as well. Les Stanford in Dearborn and Ferndale, lesstanford.com. All right, we are back for the second hour here on an Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Friday, but they're not here. They're playing hooky, and they're building up their mojo for their Michigan team. We're going to get into just that in a second here. We talked about the Malcolm Rodriguez ACL. We're actually going to be having Dr. Pearson here in about a half hour, and we will dive more into that. But I know, maybe not me, but I know all of you guys want to talk U of M, OSU, the rivalry game. And in my whole lifetime, Terry, I don't know if I've ever seen a 20-point spread between these two teams for this showdown.
Yeah, I mean, it's been close before, maybe 14, 15 points, because back in the day you thought Ohio State was so much superior than Michigan. They proved that they were. But I would never, ever take Ohio State as minus 20 points, because this rivalry, and I know it's cliche, you never know what's going to happen. You probably have a good idea who's going to win, but there's very few blowouts. And I tell you what I would do, though. Here's why it won't be a 20, because Ryan Day is coaching Ohio State.
Clown.
Oh. He is a clown with his little face paint or whatever he's got on his
Just
beard.
a man.
He got his little beady eyes.
Mm-hmm. But you know what I would do if I was in charge of Ohio State? If Ohio State lost to Michigan, I wouldn't let him even go into the dressing room. I'd fire his butt right on the field. So you out here, we don't want you. Because Michigan is, I would use the term sorry. This is a sorry team this year. They can't pass. All they can do is sort of run the ball. The defense is pretty good. I'll give them that. But this is a team, if you are Ohio State, and if you're not the soft Ohio State that we see sometimes, you should clock Michigan.
Yeah.
Maybe not by 20 points, but you should.
You should win,
right?
Certainly, and you know, to your point, we saw that yesterday in a rivalry game. A lot of Lions fans, new money fans. Oh, it's going to be another blowout. Listen, this is black and blue division on Thanksgiving against the Bears. It might not be the rivalry that OSU Michigan is, but these two teams know and hate each other, and they are bringing everything that they have and some of the stuff they haven't shown yet. I think it's crazy to put them as 20-point dogs. I think they have an opportunity to win. Am I crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I would say so.
Man, I've been supporting Michigan and calling crazy. I love it.
You know what? Michigan is so one-dimensional.
Sure.
I mean, Ohio State, gets a couple touchdowns, and then you're going to ask this team to throw the ball?
Sure.
It's not happening. Or you're going to ask this team to march 80 yards in 12 plays, mostly on the ground, to get into the game and then to catch up and then to go. It's not happening.
Yeah. Donovan Edwards, I know he is excited for this one. This is a team that he's torn up for the last 2 years. And honestly, he's had a bad season. He could probably put himself back on the draft map if he can have a great day. KG, I'm curious. I know that there's a lot of talk about some Wolverines skipping out towards the end of this season. Do you think that they're going to have those important players tomorrow?
They'll have everybody except Will Johnson. I mean, Will Johnson, he's making a business decision. You got to call it what it is. And at this point, I mean, he's done enough for Michigan. He's a national champion. He's been one of the better players on Michigan for quite some time now. If you want to get your bag, go to the NFL. I'm not mad at that. But they should have a full complement of everybody else. I think maybe Colston Loveland is in question because he was dealing with some kind of injury. But I do think there's a pathway to win. Now, will they win? That's a whole different scenario. But you looking at this game, it's in the Horseshoe, but it's going to be like not the best weather. So this might be a game that you have to win in the trenches. Ohio State's offensive line seems to be very weak in terms of the middle. You're going against a lot of second and third string guys in the interior of that offensive line. So when you have two, top prospects at like a Kenneth Grant and a Mason Graham, and even throw Josiah Stewart in there, who's had an underrated year to me so far, there is absolutely a chance if you can wreak havoc at the line of scrimmage. Offensively, of course, you don't expect much. But if you can get a semblance of what you got against Northwestern last week, which was, your run game came back. Khalil Mullins actually showed up. And he hadn't showed up in a few weeks now. Donovan Edwards, he played good as well. If you can get the run game going and control the ground in a game that's probably going to be pretty ugly and keep it close, then you set up Ohio State to make mistakes, because I said this earlier, make no mistake, all of the pressure is on Ohio State. Nobody is expecting Michigan to go into the horseshoe and pull out any sort of victory. So if they go in there and keep it close, you're going to see them guys on the Ohio State sidelines get a little tight.
Now, you know what? And we don't say enough about Ohio State. I will say, and I know Ryan Day gets mad when people say, I think they're a little bit soft mentally.
They are.
You can mess with them. Let them score opening touchdown, let them go up 14-0, then they're like giants. You can't do anything with them. But just be down 10-7 at halftime or something. They'll be like, ooh, my God, what's going on here?
Yeah, KG, I like your take in the fact that there's no pressure on anybody at Michigan, but I do disagree slightly.
Okay.
Terry, is there an outcome for this game that could put Sharon Moore's job in jeopardy?
I think his job's in jeopardy anyway.
As it should be. I think so too.
So, yeah, if you beat Ohio State, then, that's huge. But the fact still remains that you're a mediocre team. So, yeah, you got up for one game. But I think his job is in jeopardy. I think he had to make the 12-team college playoff to be secure.
Wow.
They won the national championship last year. And I know Harbaugh screwed him, and he left, and he took all his coaches and everything. But Michigan should still be a top 12 program.
Yeah, he feels very lame duck to me. I've watched a lot of their games, and I've seen some coaching blunders, some mismanagement of the clock at the end. This is a similar situation to what Caleb has had. If they bring him back here, and you get this kid from Belleville, and things don't go well, he might have his second offensive coordinator in his sophomore year.
Yeah, correct. But he will be fired. I got to push back just a little bit, because you're not wrong, Terry. Like, the expectations for this year, even with everything that transpired, you were expected to be better than this. Like, I thought the worst that this could get was 8-4, and maybe you just narrowly missed the playoffs. Now you're looking at, okay, you were just barely bowl eligible this year, man. So I think with the Bryce Underwood signing, that bought him some time, at least next year. But you cannot have what happened this year, next year, when you have better talent in the building. So they're going to have to make some changes, especially offensively.
Let me push back.
Go ahead, please.
He didn't bring him in. The money people brought him in. The wife of the Oracle CEO brought him in.
Okay.
Second richest man in the world.
And while that can be true, Sharon Moore was also very involved in this process. You're not going to flip a recruit who is the number one, not just QB, but college player or high school player in the country without knowing, like, okay, this is probably going to be your guy at least for the next year. Sharon Moore was very involved in the process to recruit him here. Of course, there were other factors like a Connor Stallions, like who you brought up, but the fact is Sharon Moore is most likely going to get another year regardless of what happens tomorrow. But what I will say is that if they go and get their doors blown off in the horseshoe, I think that's a little telling as to, whether he'll be the right guy going into next year, because I understand the circumstances are what they are, but this is a rivalry game. This is the biggest rivalry in college football. You got to get up for this game. So while a loss is bad, period, you can't go in there and get blown out by like 30, 40 points. To me, that's malfeasance. That shows that the team necessarily isn't going to rally around Sharon Moore. And while he will, I think, guaranteed get another year next year, you're kind of already looking at next year like, okay, they couldn't even get up for Ohio State. This may not be the best idea.
I think Connor Stallions had more to do with getting the quarterback.
And you could be right. Like I said, but I'm just saying Sharon was involved in it. Let's not act like he wasn't involved in the process.
Yeah, his involvement was Sharon. If we get Underwood in, are you in favor of it? Yes.
See, I got to push back on that thing.
It's a little more than that.
He mentioned it. the money went out and got this guy.
No,
this
of course,
whole
of
new
course.
group of multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar men said, we're going to do this. So you have a lame duck, basically interim full-season coach, a George Irvin, if you will, taking over a national championship team and going basically 500. So why the hell would you limp him in here with your new $10+ million prize when you can go out and spend the money to get a high-profile coach?
Well, one, you want to save that money for players because, I mean, we
Oracle's
got to look
not worried
at
about
this.
saving money?
Yeah, well, look. We got to look at this in the proper perspective. Yes, this is not what we thought it would be, but at the same time, there are caveats. I mean, Sharon Moore, he did get full control of this team until late in January. The transfer portal period had already passed. The quarterbacks were the quarterbacks. He only had to pick of the quarterbacks that were already here, and he hasn't been fully able to implement, I feel like, his system or build the program up. Now, at the same time, he's responsible for the personnel hires, and I think the personnel hires went a long way into what this season looks like, and that's on him. He hired the wrong people, but at the same time, he hasn't really been able to, I feel, go out and get the people that he wants to get. And at the same time, like, if he gets more talent in here and this looks like this next year, then I'm out of excuses at that point. To me, you have to get rid of him at that point, but you at least have to give him a shot with actual talent, because Alex Orji, he was only going to get you so far. Davis Warren, he was only going to get you so far. Now you have a top QB prospect. Maybe you get some more talent on the offensive end, and we'll see how it looks.
Well, as a Spartan, I truly hope that he returns to Ann Arbor next year, but we are going to take a quick break here, pay a couple more bills, and we'll be back with a little more OSU U of M.
That's right, everybody. You can fuel your Lions fandom with a perfect cup and become a subscriber of Sabbath Coffee Roasters. Whether you're gearing up for a big game or savoring a quiet morning, Sabbath Coffee Roasters has you covered with fresh, locally roasted specialty coffee delivered right to your door. Head to www.sabbathcoffeeroasters.com, choose your favorite roast, use the code word Woodward, and you'll get 25% off your first subscription order. Awake and unwind, support local, and enjoy game day right with Sabbath Coffee Roasters, and we will be right back.
Can't get enough Lions coverage? Make sure you catch all Woodward sports shows every game day. Wake up with Woodward and Maine, giving you the latest insight into the Lions locker room and press conferences. Then join the Lions pregame show, highlighting key matchups, injuries, and what to watch for during the game. Follow all the ups and downs of the live game action with our Woodward Watch Party live on YouTube and woodwardsports.com. After the game, check out the instant fan and host reactions with the Lions postgame show. Every game, it's wall-to-wall, kneecap-biting, high-fiving, chest-pumping Lions coverage.
Hell yeah!
Only at Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Into any Lady Jane's haircuts for men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Is that an octopus in your pants, or are you just happy to see me? See what I did there? Go Red Wings! From Octopi Experts Woodward Sports.
Hey, everybody, head to Caesars Sportsbook right now, my friends. Use the QR code above my head. Yeah, that one up there. There it is. I see it up there. If you use that QR code above my head at Caesars Sportsbook with a brand new account and you deposit $20, at least $20, and your first bet loses, you get your first bet back up as a bonus bet, back up to $1,000 if you make that bet in return. So there you go, everybody. Head to Caesars Sportsbook with a brand new account. Use the code Woodward1000. Use the QR code above my head and start winning money. And then you can take that winning all the way to head to shop.woodwardsports.com and get your brand new Detroit sports merch. The Lions will be in session all the way through mid-February. We know that. You got to have something to wear to the Super Bowl parade. Then come the Tigers. After that, with spring training and their season, don't forget the Pistons and Red Wings as well. Always in session for them. Shop.woodwardsports.com right now. Black Friday sale going on. Get 10% off. Use the code word WSN10 at checkout. Gentlemen,
welcome back, Detroit. Black Friday here at Woodward Sports. Ermanni, Edwards, and Maz. But you got the fill-in team. Mr. Terry Foster is here to join us today, and of course KG and Parlay Pete in the production booth. Parlay Pete,
what's up?
I need to know. We talked about this 20-point spread between the Michigan Wolverines and the Ohio State Buckeyes. Are you taking the Wolverines to cover?
Tell you what, in a rivalry game like this on the road, Michigan's already proven that they can win at Ohio State in what was a horseshoe, and now it looks like a bizarre kind of filled-in toilet seat. But anyway, aside from that, I think that I would take the points, and I don't think Michigan will win the game, but I think it's a rivalry game. It's a blood rivalry game. It is the game. I think that you'd be safe taking the 20.5. You may want to alternate it up or down, depending on how confident you are or not confident that you are. But I just don't see, I really don't see this Michigan team for as 500-ish as it's been all season long getting destroyed by Ohio State. I just don't see it happening, personally, me. And honestly, guys, I am one of those people, especially as a gambler, who believes in the game after and how you play, the game. My whole point is that I think that Ohio State may have given everything that they had against Indiana. I'm not saying they're going to come out and let Michigan roll over them, but they exposed their whole playbook against Indiana. They ran a few plays that I hadn't seen all season long. The playbook's out there. The playbook's open. Michigan is able to study them a lot better with a lot more of those plays visible, and I think the coaching staff from Michigan will have their players ready to go because if they're smart enough and do the homework and do the film study, then they'll be able to recognize those brand new plays that I saw against Indiana, which obviously we know what happened against that.
How have the Wolverines been against the spread this year?
Wolverines against the spread have been basically 500. It's kind of been up and down, but on the road, they've actually been pretty. They're on the road. I think it's 2-3 on the road. So they're again, it's the 500 sort of thing. So personally, I'm taking the points because I don't see Michigan getting blown out in this game.
Yeah, I think if you look at the history of Michigan football, that they don't do well against this points. First of all, Lloyd Carr, when he was coach, didn't like to run up the score.
Right.
Secondly, I think it's real that Vegas always overvalues Michigan because they're trying to get people on both sides of the betting ledger. So you've got to give Michigan more points than you normally would. So I don't think that's if you're a smart bettor, you don't bet on Michigan. Maybe this might be the game because they gave him too many points. Or gave Ohio State too many points.
That's kind of where I'm at. KG, does it feel like Vegas knows something we don't?
I mean, they're going to try. I mean, it's Vegas, but ultimately, I do feel like Michigan can at least keep this within 20 points. I mean, even for college football, that's a pretty big spread. My rule is you never trust a double-digit spread, especially in terms of football. But like I said, this is a game where it's going to be pretty bad weather out there, so that changes things like greatly. Maybe if it was sunshine and rainbows, then Ohio State does run Michigan into the ground. But seeing that it's going to be primarily a game where you want to run the ball a lot, I can see it being a battle of attrition and Michigan at least keeping it close.
So is it going to be under the 43.5 point spread?
No.
Quick answer from Parlay Pete over there.
Pete saying no. I don't know. It depends on how bad the weather is,
Sure.
but I right now I would say under. Right now.
Yeah, we need a weather report.
Yeah.
I got it right here. It's going to be 30 degrees and clear and sunny. It'll be one of those.
Oh, so it's just gonna
the
be cold.
sun's going to come into play because of the glares and that late day. And it's going to be windy. The wind gusts are expected to be at 15 to 20 miles per hour.
Ooh.
30 degrees, so you're under freezing.
Michigan doesn't need wind if they're not going to pass the ball.
True. If anything, they'd like some wind.
Yeah, I mean, they have passed the ball more because, I mean, Davis Warren hasn't been good. Don't get me wrong. He's been pretty bad this year. But at least in terms of the last, I would say, 4 weeks, almost 4 weeks, he's played better. Has it been perfect? No, he still turns over the ball at bad, opportune times. But they have a propensity now to at least throw the ball a little more than they did with Alex Orji, more than they did with even Tuttle. And he is capable of making some plays. Now, I wouldn't trust him to go out there and bomb it 30 to 40 times. Absolutely not. But you do have one of the better tight ends in the country in Colston Loveland. Tyler Morris has been a wide receiver that has stepped up. You still have Samaj Morgan.
Baby boy sounding optimistic.
No, I'm just being real about it.
You think they're going to win?
No, well, I'm a Michigan fan, so I'm always going to root for my team. Do I think they'll win? No, I don't. Just being completely honest.
But there's a pathway.
Clearly, but that's why we're being paid to come up here and tell the people that there is a pathway to success. But if they can get the run game going and predicate everything else after that, then, I mean, it could be anybody's game.
Is that pathway easier with bad elements, Terry?
Yeah, because I just don't respect Ohio State as being a tough team. Yeah. Now, back in the day when I was a young whippersnapper, the weather didn't make a difference.
Sure.
It was whoever's tougher that day.
Yep.
But now Ohio State, I don't know what I think they're trying to be a fancy pants team, and that's going to get you in trouble in the elements.
Well, speaking of fancy pantses, we've got Just for Men Ryan Day. All right. So you mentioned it earlier that he doesn't even get to the locker room if they lose this game.
I fire his ass.
We're all on the same page for that one.
Almost. I feel like if they lose, they might not fire him that day. But if you compound that with anything bad happening in the playoff, he's out of there. He's done.
Dude, bro. When he's walking off the field, a dude in a trench coat should go up right next to him, whisper in his ear, and say, the locker room's over here. No, you need to go out in the stands because you gone.
It won't be a good look if he loses to Michigan. We can make that a point. It's not a good look.
The administration doesn't do it. Those fans might not let them.
No, that's a fact.
That's a fact. He'll go through the stands. The fans just tear him up.
Oh, man.
But I say, dude, you don't need to go to the office. We've already cleaned your office out. So you're out of here. I mean, they're serious at Ohio State.
Dude, totally. They are.
With this Michigan game.
They are.
Now, up in Michigan, they're serious about it, but not like Ohio State, man.
Yeah. No, I don't think it completely gets him fired if he loses, but the hot seat is turned to 9 out of 10 for sure.
Dude, they're going to have cardboard boxes on the sidelines if he's down by 7 with like 5 minutes to go.
No, that's a fact.
Cardboard
it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. It won't be a good look.
The Michigan-Ohio State game brought to you by U-Haul.
Love it.
That's a good one, Terry.
Or maybe 2 men in a truck.
2 men in a truck. Right.
So where are you guys going to be watching it? Are you guys all tuning in? Because I'm actually going to watch.
Yeah, I'll tune in, but
I'm going to watch in the man's room.
Right. You think we're going to a bar to watch this?
Oh, I don't know. You watching it from home? You guys going out with friends?
No. If you thought Michigan, maybe in the last few years you would go because it'd be more festive.
Yeah, more competitive, yes.
Now you're going to get the Michigan fan who's either a realist or the ones that are expecting doom. So it's going to be really quiet at the sports bar this time.
Yeah. I'll be at home checking it out after I get my haircut. Shout out Lady Jane's because they're wicked awesome.
You know who I'm not watching the game with? My wife.
Uh-oh. Why not?
She's a Spartan. She's a bad Spartan, too.
I like her already.
Oh, my God.
Good choice, my friend.
Because last year really annoyed her. She was like, is Michigan really that good? They can win a national title? I said, yeah, they could win that. And she's like, dang.
Yeah. I like her.
A bad Spartan.
Well, we are up against another break. When we come back, we are going to be talking Rodrigo, the torn ACL, and we're going to be doing it with our very own Dr. Pierce.
Pierce.
This Thursday, a week from yesterday, the Lions play again. That's right, 2 Thursday games in a row, and you are going to start your day off from 8 to 9, tuning in to Woodward Sports to catch my man right here, Detroit legend Terry Foster, with a new and upcoming legend, Matt Broder. They'll be covering everything to do with your 11-1 NFC North champion Detroit Lions. They'll help you get your fantasy stuff right, all of that good stuff. And of course, they are brought to you by Tangerine Space Machine, Taller Your Local Long Drink, Sabbath Coffee, and Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. But you know what? They'll also be sponsoring your next hour, which is going to be at Second Best. You can join Sean Belesian as well as Neil Rule in person from Second Best Bar right downtown, a short walk away from the stadium. But we're hosting the Packers, right?
Yes.
All right, so that's a perfect way to spend
December 5th.
perfect way to spend your Thursday. Although those times are going to be changed around a little bit because obviously it's an evening game. We'll get you that information. But then afterwards and during, you can join us in Shelby Township at Hayes Social, the best place to catch a game. The screens are ginormous and they are everywhere. First, we'll be with the heavyweights as they watch and commentate on that game. And then afterwards, it'll be myself and my man Stick. Once again, this is all brought to you by Sabbath Coffee, Tangerine Space Machine, Taller Your Local Long Drink, and Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. We hope to see you next Thursday.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR.
Searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Well, everybody, coming up on Thursday, December 5th, you can join us at Detroit's very own Second Best Bar, located at 42 Watson Street, for the ultimate fan experience. Enjoy some smooth Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey while catching the best Lions pregame show in all of Detroit on Thursday, December 5th, when we host the Packers. Better than the flagship and the best Lions pregame show in all of the nation. Join us, Second Best Bar, Thursday, December 5th. Come get some.
All right, we are back once again. Ermanni, Edwards, and Maz on a Black Friday here, but you get me and Terry Foster and KG and Pistol Pete instead. We've got our special guest, Dr. Pierce, back, but before we do, we're going to just mention the Pistons. The 2-0 NBA Cup Pistons. They've got their third game in the NBA Cup going. And
behave yourself.
It's exciting. We talked about the putting some money on them. They were like a 10,000 to 1 to win this NBA Cup this year. But they are headed to Indiana, and the Pacers started their season off with a loss here at LCA. How do you feel about the Pistons going to Indiana?
Is Cade Cunningham playing? No.
Yeah.
Then I don't feel good.
They're hard to watch without him.
I think that hurts him a lot. I will say this about the Pistons, man. They got a pulse. They got a coach who actually wants to be there. But in order to win at Indiana, they need Cade Cunningham. And if they had him, I don't think that's happening tonight. I think Indiana's a very good team, and they're only going to get better. But the Pistons need Cade Cunningham. No Cade, no way.
Yeah. And they, had a great game against Toronto 2 games ago, but then they got blown out the last time on the floor.
They
against
always
Memphis.
have a good game against Toronto.
Yeah, and Toronto's pretty darn bad this year. Without Cade, they can run with teams sometimes, but when it gets into that nitty-gritty, and we see it even when he's healthy and they take him out at the start or at the end of the third or early fourth, this team in a close game, a competitive game, they just don't have that leadership out there. Jaden's starting to find it, but there's nobody else on the floor that can really lead this team when it's close.
No, the leadership thing is spot on, and that's the thing that I've been waiting for them because, I think the teams with leadership, in the NBA you play a lot of games to go back and forth, but then when it's like 3 minutes left, I think teams, what they're doing, they're looking, they watch and say, oh, it's 3 minutes left. Let's put these clowns away.
Yeah.
And I think that's the position the Pistons are in, and they're not in that position where, okay, here's what we're going to do in the next 3 minutes. Here's who we're going to get the ball to. Here's the defense we're going to play. They're not there yet, and you need that. They don't have that alpha dog. Maybe Beef Stew's that alpha dog, but he's not talented enough to be that guy that you're going to follow.
Yeah.
I'll say, Beef, lead us through there. I'll walk through the wall. Cade is that guy, but Cade always looks like he's sleepy.
I've always felt that almost apathetic. This year, he's playing with a chip on his shoulder, and I have enjoyed that. My question for you before we talk to Dr. Pierce, is this a play-in game team?
I'm going to say no.
No.
I think they're a team that's going to threaten, and I know the young fellows around here get mad when I say it, but they're not quite there yet. This team is not good. They play hard. I'll give them that, but that's not good enough to make the play-in, I don't think.
All right. Well, we have our special guest in every Thursday. We get this segment with Dr. Pierce, but we are going to take a real quick break before we get to him. I know you guys all want to talk ACL and Hutchinson.
Yeah, and we taking a break on the show, but how about you take a break in real life, man, and crack open one of these New Holland Taller, the Dutch long drink from New Holland Brewing Company, made right here in the great state of Michigan, man. And let me just tell you about a few of the things in it, man. Small batch gin, 100% grapefruit, and all natural flavors for a better, or all natural ingredients for a better flavor, man. And you can get these things at Total Wine. You can get them at Meyer. You saw us drinking them on the watch party and the post game yesterday. Oh, they're so good, man. But shout out to New Holland, and Taller is your local long drink.
It's bear hunting season, and Dan Campbell is hungry for some kneecaps.
If you can just get a hold of them and you start dragging their ass out to the deep, dark abyss, you can drown them.
The Kings of the North are back for another year of the brand new Lions. Make sure you're locked in to Detroit's #1 sports network for all the news and info on your Detroit Lions.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in the clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today. A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Welcome back to Woodward Sports. We're just going to get right into it because we've been telling you we'd have Dr. Pierce in today, and I know all of you guys want to hear the prognosis for Malcolm Rodriguez and the torn ACL. Welcome in, Doc.
How you doing?
Real good, man. It's good to see you.
Man, I love all the love I'm getting, but it's related to too many injuries with the Lions. So good and bad. I guess we're getting the good and bad. I was at the game yesterday, got a lot of Woodward Sports love from the fans, and it was kind of, now I know what it's like to be like you guys, being recognized and pull aside.
Well, that's beautiful. But if the Lions weren't injured, we just have you on to talk about the weather. And how boring would that be?
He's had triple and quadruple duty when it comes to injuries this season.
I'll find some other things we can talk about. But, yeah, I mean, it's I don't know how you want to get into it.
Tell us about the ACL. Tell us, I mean, we know the anterior cruciate ligament. It's something that keeps your leg from going the wrong way. It's crucial. But we want to know about recovery. Are we going to be able to see Malcolm next year?
Oh, yeah, for sure for next year. I mean, everybody's worried, breaking news, season-ending injury. We've talked about it a lot, unfortunately, because we've had it. So here's the actual injury. It doesn't look like much, but his leg just kind of goes the wrong way. And it's those vector forces we've talked about where it's just an unfortunate twist in the motion where his body's going one way with a lot of power.
Oh, you can see
and
a
then
little bit.
He's being twisted the opposite way. So with that being said, just going through the anatomy, I think we have a thing of the anatomy too. The knee obviously is a very intricate part of the body where you can see all the muscles. We're peeling back the muscles here, getting right down to the ligament. And the ACL is kind of like that crisscross thing that we have going. You'll see the red there, right there. It's the ligament that keeps your knee tight, right? So you got all the muscles around. We peeled that back. You have the ACL, which we all hear about, and that's a tear actually within that holds that joint consistently tight. So what you were trying to say that from forwards and backwards, it's that sliding motion. Because then we have collateral ligaments on the outside. We have the meniscus, which is like the cushion part, but that ACL that we all hear about and worry about with that injury, is the ligament that holds it tight. So you don't get that sloppy feeling where you can make the cuts and things like that. So unfortunately for professional athletes, it's a well-needed ligament. And these days, back in the day it was a kiss of death if you had an ACL. Now it's kind of routine. Hats off to the medical community that has made it pretty routine. So, we're looking at, it's always been a 6-month period from a physiological standpoint, physiological healing. So with that ACL repair, he'll probably have it repaired within the next 24 to 48 hours, depending on how much swelling is going on there. But they're so strong in their quads and their thighs that recovery should come back fairly quickly. So when you're talking about what's the recovery, Super Bowl, I don't know the date right now, but you're not coming back in less than 4 months.
No.
So
It does sound like he'd be available for OTAs in June, though. You have mentioned we were together a lot of Thursdays during the summer that ACL surgery and technology is far, far advanced. I'm a sufferer of a torn ACL myself. My question, because I know how I've dealt with it, is the emotional side, the psychological side. And what do you guys provide for athletes to help them, not just in physical therapy, but also believing in those injured limbs and recovery?
I think, especially now, even on the team, we have ACL injuries. I mean, JMO's a great example of coming fully back and being even stronger. Rodriguez is, he's not as flat. He's not the same personality. He's that guy that's going to grind it out in the corner. I'm going to do everything those doctors tell me. I'm going to stay on schedule. I'm going to beat that schedule, and for him to understand. So he's got to get through it. The mentality is, the unfortunate thing, we got a lot of people in that recovery rehab room.
Yeah.
And they're almost going to get as competitive as they are in the field for return to play. So I think there's a lot of positive encouragement. So when you talk about the mental aspect, if you're there all alone, like we talked about Braylon with his ACL, it was pretty lonely. I don't want to use the word depression, but it plays on you mentally. So when you got a team around you, you got, the medical staff is proving out to be, second to none in the NFL right now. As far as the trainers, everybody's on top of it. The knowledge of the ACL, there's no mystery to it. I'm not saying it's becoming very common, but there's no big mystery. The way the recovery, the repair, the technology that you're using, but also the strengthening what we need to do. So it's not, nothing's foreign. So it's just unfortunately, it's like pregnancy. You gotta, no matter how much you want to push it, it's still 9 months to deliver it.
Now, maybe you can change my mind on this, but one of the most ridiculous things I always hear when teams have a lot of injuries, well, can the training and medical staff, are they doing something wrong? In the NFL, isn't it just sort of like injuries happen because they happen? Or can a training or medical staff do something to prevent injuries, which I don't think can happen?
Or predispose you to more injuries.
Right.
Well, I mean, I don't know if we want to open this can of worms, but there have been periods of time where new technology, like overlifting, creating muscle imbalances. We saw that a lot with sports hernias. We adjusted it. Overlifting, overstrengthening, shortening the muscles, all that. You have to have a very good trainer. You don't need a meathead guy like you're going to get as big as I am, and you shorten muscles, which actually is a big problem. You want to fully lengthen the muscle. So the training staff, are any of these injuries related to that? No, these are silly injuries. I mean, Aiden's silly injury. Our linebacker from last week, Alex, those were silly, unfortunate moments. With this, it's an bad moment where his foot got planted and his body went the opposite way. There's nothing we can go and look at and say that's the way they're training. They overtrained, they overdid it. There was big criticism at the beginning of the year that they were going full tilt in preseason, and is that going to wear on them later in the season? I'm a Dan Campbell fan, but I also, if we go back to the stuff I said, we might not like this later in the season because we're going so hard now. When we look at it, like there's criticism of the kickoff play. Well, all these things are being done because the odds are to reduce injuries. Why do we reduce the amount of time that they're in pads preseason? Campbell wanted them going 100 miles an hour day one. There's a wear and tear factor. Why do we have the resting in the NBA? There's a wear and tear factor to be ready for that playoff Super Bowl run. So I don't know if I actually answered your question, but no, I don't think anything's doing anything malignant or bad for the Lions and the training staff that are leading to these silly injuries. The little bumps and bruises and the achiness, maybe that you can start saying they're being overworked and we got to start properly resting them. But I think they rested pretty well during Thanksgiving. So no, I can't.
Yeah, and I also think Campbell protects his players. Like, you can have a hangnail and you're not practicing on Wednesday.
Right. He's very in tune to let them rest. So I think right now I'm going to say it's just unfortunate moments on our majors that we're talking about, like Aiden and Alex and now Rodriguez. I mean, you look at it, he didn't really do anything. It was like, how did it even happen? And it's just vectors and forces. So it's crazy.
It's an interesting thing that you brought up, Terry, because I was going to say the same thing. I have so many people telling me, well, it's because of the medical staff, they're so injured. If anything, it's a style of play and leaving it all on the field that, if anything, has exposed these guys to maybe a higher rate of injury this season. My question for you, Doc, is what makes the Lions health and medical team so good?
Well, like I've said before, when everybody's on the same page, like you said, Campbell has created an atmosphere, an environment where everybody's on the same page, right? So they're so good because everybody's going for the same goal. You don't have players, like certain players we can mention in the NFL, that are hiding their injuries, exaggerating their injuries, finding reasons. All these guys want to play. It's really the next man up mentality, and I support whoever my teammate is. And I think there's a lot of true love in that locker room. And the medical staff, we love it when we're on the same page. We love it when you get agents, you get lawyers. It's a business. It's not just I'm just talking to the athlete. You're talking through a lawyer. You're talking through an agent. You're talking through upper management. They're wearing a hat that they have to deal with. I've dealt with a lot of politics in just treating a certain player. Management's like, well, we're not sure we want him to rehab. We're not sure where we want him to be. He's in contract year. A lot of these guys are very aware of the business aspect of it. I think all that's been wiped away with the Lions, where you're seeing that in a lot of locker rooms. I can't get into it, but I think with the Lions, they are focused on Super Bowl only. We're doing everything possible, get everybody healthy. And you mentioned, I think it's the mentality, leave it all on the field. These guys are leaving it on the field. Yeah. I think they're going at, I've talked a lot about working in 10 gears. And, they're on the field. Are they in gear 5 through 7? Or are they through 7 through 10? I think a lot of teams you can see, like the Raiders, nobody's getting out of 7th gear. Where the Lions, everybody's 8, 9 gear.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like I've seen one play being taken off by anybody on this team.
No, absolutely not. But I tell you one thing that happens a lot in professional sports is there's mistrust between the athlete and the medical staff from the team.
Right.
Where does all that come from? Or is that accurate?
I don't want to say it's accurate because those are my guys.
Mm-hmm. It happens though, right?
I've been involved in some cases where management was on a different level, and when the doctor that works for the team, his onus is to the management. And a lot of players will leave to get another opinion, or they have treatment outside of the traditional locker room. And is it a trust thing? I think it's, what's the motivation? What hat is he wearing? Is he knowledgeable enough? Sometimes the docs are not the best people, because, like, if you go to I'm not picking on certain cities, but certain cities don't have a quality that you might have in a bigger city.
Sure.
So, like, you hear about Andrews all the time. He's the biggest name. I'm going to Andrews to get it done. That was the big thing 10 years ago. But there are doctors. There's doctors on the East Coast. There's doctor on the West Coast. Our docs here are great. They're highly qualified for what's been going on right now. So to create that mistrust, it is deserving, because some of the athletes and the politics and the lawyers and the agents they're fighting for their own player. Everybody's worried about that next contract, unfortunately.
Well, it's definitely going to come down to trust at the end of January and early February, because every fan in this city, if they see Hutchinson walking anywhere or doing anything, they're going to want him on the field. But it's going to, at that point, come down to the trust, not only with management and with the health staff, but also Hutchinson being honest. What are the odds that if the Lions make the Super Bowl, we see our defensive captain, Aiden Hutchinson, on the field in Las Vegas?
And I, for one, don't want to see it. Am I being a worm boy? Because I just think there's going to be too much going on in his head. Let him go through a training camp. Let him rest that thing. Let him get it straight. That's my opinion, but could he do it?
It's funny. I talk about people recognize me at the field, but that was the biggest question I
bet.
got asked.
I bet.
Can
You get to
Hutch
ask
come
everywhere.
back? I
Yeah.
mean, we've done a few pieces on Hutchinson, and a lot of love for the guy. I said he's going to beat the 6-month recovery. Can he beat the 4-month? I'm kind of with Terry. It wouldn't be in the best interest. Okay, but there are measurements. We have enough scientific stuff to look at his strength, his speed, his feedback systems. He can be analyzed at a very detailed level that we didn't have years before. It was more like, how you feeling?
Yeah.
Now we can do measurements. We can look at side to side. We can look at his step movements. But I think he's the only thing that's going to get him on the field is that he thinks this is the only time we're going to get to the Super Bowl. We got to get there too. There's a lot of games to still be played.
Certainly.
We are favored, which is great, but we also have a target on our back, which isn't so great. They talked about the Eagles. They're going to slide in like, we did last year. Those kind of things. But we got to get there. But I would be hard pressed to see him be on the field in less than 4 months. That would be a real miracle.
Herculean. Yeah. Well, we were in here
That's
yesterday.
a lot of secret sauce.
Yeah. Well, they got it. They got a lot of that sauce there in Allen Park. But we were talking yesterday at the end of the watch party and in the beginning of the post-game show. And Stick, he thinks he should be out there no matter what if he's healthy or even kind of. KG's on the opposite side of that spectrum. Sit him. Keep him healthy. Let's have him for next year. I guess my question is there somewhere in between where you have him on the sideline? But the big thing that why he thought he could just go out there is he's saying, this isn't like an ACL. It's not like an Achilles. It's a different injury. To me, I feel like there's just as much re-injury opportunity for that kind of a break.
There is. I mean, there's I use the example of pregnancy's 9 months no matter how much you push it. Same thing with bone healing. There's a physiological strengthening of the bone. We always use the word 6 months, okay? Can we push it at 4 and try to be fortunate? He's got fractures. He's got to build. It's the bone healing, but you got to realize all that muscle and everything he's been recruiting for years and building up to, that's not going to be overnight. It doesn't turn back on. He's as big as he was. Hutchinson's built a little different. He carries a lot of muscle above the knee. From the knee down, he doesn't have that big, bulky muscle, which kind of created from his speed and probably his old days of dancing.
Hey.
But that's how he's built. So we have to understand his anatomy versus like Rodriguez and the other linebacker. These guys are big, burly guys. Hutchinson's he's been very limber and very flexible and very quick because of that. That all has to come back quickly. So we're talking physiologically 6 months for bones to heal, but also, he's in the pool now. He's activating those muscles. All that stuff has to activate. You talk about fast twitch, slow twitch, different types of muscle that needs to recover and be turned back on. So there's a lot to go. I don't want to peel back too much,
Sure.
but it's not just bone. My bone is healed, therefore my bone is better. I can go play. And it's his lower leg. Like Alex, he can probably wear a cast and play. Hutch can't do that. So I think he's ahead of schedule for sure. Is he under the 4 month period? That's going to be a hard one.
So, Doc, one more question. Did you have stuffing yesterday or dressing?
I had both. Oh, I had stuffing.
Thanksgiving.
Did you have dessert? Did you have pumpkin pie or sweet potato pie?
I had a white.
White Thanksgiving. It's not a crime. It's all right.
Not at all.
I know where this is going
Not
now.
at all.
No, we did have great sweet potato with the marshmallow, all that. So
I hate those, but everybody gets
well,
them.
what did I miss here? What?
Well, we started
I did the thing. Did you have a white Thanksgiving or a black Thanksgiving? So if you had pumpkin pie, it was a white Thanksgiving.
Hit him with the questions.
I did not have pumpkin pie. I'm not a pumpkin pie guy.
Okay.
But my daughter, shout out to my daughter. We flew back early so she could make her famous apple pie for the family yesterday, and it was a big hit.
Well, that's one right there.
That's one of the ones. Did
a homemade apple pie, no store-bought stuff.
Did you have apple pie or peach cobbler?
Apple pie.
Okay, 3.
3 for 3.
3 for 3. Afterwards, did you play cards afterwards?
We played a game made by one of my cousins where you had to roll dice, and if you got doubles, you got to pick a prize.
Oh, if you have a game made by someone, that's a white Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
absolutely. I was going to ask, did you play bid, whisk, or euchre? If you would have played.
Euchre was on the table.
5 for 5.
5 for 5. Okay.
Perfect from the field.
Did you hear sirens in the background during dessert?
Now we're not staying.
6 for 6.
Not that I was aware of.
You're right.
I heard birds and chirping.
Okay. Well, that's 6 for 6.
Right.
Now, did anyone over 300 pounds fall down the stairs after dinner?
There's nobody in my family that's over 300 pounds.
He's
7
on
for 7.
fire.
Now, did people, when they left, did they take a plate home or did they take food home?
Tupperware.
Ooh.
Plate.
Okay, well that's black because we don't take food home. We take a plate full of food.
Black people have been known to take some Tupperware. We'll take a,
He got one there, Doc.
Yeah, we'll take some.
I gotta diversify a little.
For the second
a
game
Rubbermaid.
of the Thanksgiving second NFL game, were at least half your guests sleep?
We started late, so no, everybody was awake.
Oh, you started late. That's
well, we
black.
went to the Lions game, so we had a.
Okay.
Well, most of us were at the Lions game, so we had to start
A near perfect slate. We appreciate you coming in today, Doc, and we'll see him again next Thursday with our insider for injuries, Dr. Pierce. Listen, shout out, thank you, Terry, for coming in today.
Hopefully, you won't have to talk about any of my injuries.
No Lions on Sunday, guys, but there's a lot of important college football games tomorrow. I know that all you Michigan fans will be glued to your sets. So enjoy your weekend, and we will see you back here next Monday.
Peace out.
Peace out.